I never would have thought that with Luka and Austin Reeves combining for 73 points on better than 50% shooting, that we would get boat raced the way that we did. But it just goes to show you just how good LeBron James still is at 40 years old, that his absence would have that big of an impact.
Yeah, he really is still that good and that impactful, even in nights when he's not there. But you should take a little solace in this, CC, because not only was LeBron not there, you didn't have Jackson Hayes, you didn't have Rui Hachimura. Like, you're at a little bit of a deficit, so I wouldn't be panicking too much when it comes to the state of your
Oh, no, I'm panicked. I'm panicked.
Okay.
Yeah, just off of what Tim Bontemps told us the other day. And I want to like Tim because he's a New York City guy. I feel like we got some things in common, but for him to take my soul the way that he did, and then my team to soil themselves in Milwaukee after embarrassing themselves in Brooklyn a couple of nights before and losing to the Nets, I'm not feeling great about things, Smalls. I'm not. I mean, Luka Doncic's ball last night, 45 points on 27 shots. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. But guess what? You can't overcome the rest of the players on the Lakers not named Austin Reeves going to combine 14 of 43 from the field.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's not going to work.
Not going to work. But see, I guess I take the opposite approach where, of course, this is not the result that you would want, but I think that a rested and recharged LeBron James come playoff time is going to be beneficial to you. So I'm not panicking if I'm a Lakers fan because I know that all they need to do is punch their ticket, and then I have a lot of confidence in that duo and LeBron and Luka to go on a run. They have the muscle memory. They know how to get there.
JJ Redick last night after the game said, or around the game last night, said that LeBron's day-to-day. Dave McMenamin, our ESPN NBA reporter for the Lakers, who has covered LeBron for years, said, no, it's a week or two. Like, he will become day-to-day once it's a week or two. So JJ may be right. Like, at some point it is day-to-day, but it's not necessarily today.
Man, JJ needed to tell Gabe Vincent stop shooting threes, man. All them threes, all them bricks he was putting up there, I thought he was trying to build another arena. Like come on, man. I'm trying to get rid of Gabe Vincent literally while watching the game, asking Ev if he wants to take him back with the Heat. Trying to get this guy off my team.
He could use him, but he's too good for them. Not last night. I understand that. But this is a big problem I have in the NBA in general, and I love the NBA. I don't understand the concept. And Gabe Vincent is not a great example of this. He was last night because he actually can shoot threes. The amount of threes that are shot by bad three-point shooters that coaches don't just say, you, person X, that's not your role here. You're actually not permitted to do that. And the Lakers have taken it to their credit, have taken advantage of the fact that coaches don't do that because we've been told by Brian Windhorst and others that is literally their strategy. There's always going to be one guy out there outside of Boston that can't shoot threes, that it's going to continue to shoot threes.
Nah, the Bucks didn't have that guy last night. Everybody was hitting threes last night.
On a consistent basis, let's just say. The Bucks last night from three were 17 of 40.
They shot over 40% for three. Not the Bucks last night.
Bucks are very good. I picked them to win the championship this year. I'm not saying I'm right. My Bucks Nuggets pick is not terrible right now.
How are you feeling about that?
It's not the Dame MVP pick was terrible because obviously it's a two-person race with SGA and Jokic. But it's not the worst pick. I've made a lot worse picks than that.
But
Go see some of my football picks from last year.
The Browns for the Super Bowl, we remember. But do you think, Evan, based on what you're seeing from the Bucks, that they could go on a run?
Yeah, see, I think they can, yet it's interesting because that's where my mind goes, and I know Cece's mind goes to, hey, this matchup last night was the race to keep the guy, right? Milwaukee keeping Giannis longer term, and Luka with the Lakers. You know, we all have rightfully celebrated this trade, and I think if the moment Luka becomes a free agent, this still was the greatest trade any team maybe has ever made. Even if he leaves, literally, even if he leaves, I think this was a great trade by the Lakers. But we have to remember, NBA players more than any other sport truly choose where they play, even when they're not free agents. Luka did not choose to play for the Lakers.
Right.
Even though it seems like, well, everybody would choose to play for the Lakers. He did not. You guys think the teams we saw last night are both competing kind of to keep their guys? And if so, which one has more to prove here to keep their guy?
I think they're clearly both competing to keep their guy. The one that I would be most concerned with is Giannis with the Milwaukee Bucks. And I get it. He's got some runway with his contract. But if you think about how lackluster their postseasons have been since they won that championship, you got to be disappointed. I mean, there's no world that exists in which you should be talking about that team having back-to-back first-round exits in the playoffs. But that's where they're at. If you have another one-and-done scenario in terms of them being ousted in the first round, I could absolutely see a world where Giannis wants out, considering that Dame only actually has one more year left on his contract because the year after that is a player option. I could see a world in which Giannis decides, you know what? I've done everything that I need to do here. I've won a championship, which is more than any Bucks fan could have anticipated when they drafted me. Now I want to move on. You heard Giannis tweeting about the international players going to bigger markets, Luka with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, I could see a world where Giannis decides to leave for greener pastures in terms of being in a bigger city, bigger platform in the second half of his career. So, yeah, I think the Milwaukee Bucks have a lot of show and prove in terms of convincing Giannis that this is a place where he can consistently compete for titles.
Especially because he himself has said, I would leave Milwaukee for another title, quote, if there was a better situation. So if you're a Bucks fan or a member of that organization, isn't that always in the back of your mind that he said that you know that that's something that he's put out there publicly, that he will leave if he needs to? Whereas if he was going to leave, we would talk about the Lakers as one of those destinations. We always talk about the Lakers when it comes to big stars because it is forever going to be one of those top destination spots. So when it comes to Luka, the fact that Dallas didn't want him and LA did, and he's going there and fitting in seamlessly. He has that relationship with JJ Redick, and it's one of the crown jewel franchises in all of sports.
And it's Southern California.
I would think the Lakers would have a lot more on the table when it comes to those conversations than the Bucks would, if in fact it got to that point with both of the stars.
And here's the other thing about the Lakers, Smalls. When we get stars, we know what to do with them. I mean, when you have big stars in L.A., when you had LeBron, he won a championship in L.A. Kobe Bryant won a championship in L.A. Trade for Shaq won a championship in L.A. When we get stars, we know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it. Like, so, like, I could see Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka putting a full court press on Luka and saying, hey, you can be the face of this franchise for the next decade. Southern California is a place where NBA players flock to live in the offseason. It's good weather. It's entertainment capital. There are so many good things that the Lakers have going for them. If you can be the centerpiece of a team that can contend for a championship with the Lakers, there are a lot of doors, a lot of things that are unlocked to you that you wouldn't necessarily have access to in other places. So, yeah, I think it'd be a long shot for Luka to leave L.A. at this point, given how quickly him and LeBron have been able to put this thing together and how they've embraced him with open arms. Conversely, with the Giannis bit, it feels like it's on life support to some degree. With everything that's happened, from the Budenholzer of it all to Adrian Griffin to Doc Rivers now and how they've underwhelmed. I mean, if they get bounced in the first round again, right now they're the 4 seed. They will be matched up against the Indiana Pacers, who they lost to in the first round last year in 6 games. If they get bounced again, I could absolutely see a world where Giannis decides, you know what, I've had enough.
I'd be stunned if either guy left, honestly. I mean, Giannis fired Budenholzer and Giannis hired Adrian Griffin, so he can't blame the organization for that one. That's on him. He asked specifically for Adrian Griffin.
That doesn't mean he can't leave.
Right. I don't see it. And one of the reasons I don't see it is, who's Giannis' best friend in the league? It's rhetorical. He's not on the team.
No, I know. But
it's a rhetorical question. Because Giannis famously prides himself, and I actually love this about him, not having friends that aren't on his team. He's not one of these, let me go work out with KD in the offseason. Let me go work out with LeBron in the offseason. And those two guys, with KD especially, is such a baller at all times in a hooper. He'll play with anyone at any time because he just wants to play basketball all day, which is what I love about KD. But Giannis doesn't have the obvious, well, you know he's eyeing that guy because he's his guy. And like,
he doesn't have the banana boat crew.
No, there's nothing like that at all. Now, he may have locations and he may have teams that he believes, hey, like, he would be more likely to go to Oklahoma City than he would be to go to the Lakers or the Heat or the Knicks or something like that.